Welcome back for another video. In this video we're going to answer one simple question: who are the best players to buy for Gameweek19? The next deadline is just a couple of days away on the 26th, so it's another short turnaround before the next game week kicks off. Big shout out to FPL Review for the projections used here. Let's get into it. Kicking off with the goalkeepers, and the keeper projections looking somewhat different now for the next 5. Top of the table's Raya, projected 4.2 points this week. Arsenal home to West Ham next game week, and with the Liverpool fixture out of the way, they're hitting a nice fixture block of West Ham, Fulham, Crystal Palace and then Nottingham Forest. As such, Raya's also joint top for the keeper projections over the next 5 game weeks. Despite having played a game more than City, Arsenal is still top in the league for expected goals conceded with 13.98 XGC. Man City have registered 16.75 XGC. The other keeper projected 20.5 points over the next 5 is in fact Edison. Given the 0.6 mil that separates the two, Raya is the logical pick. However, it's worth noting that the Brentford postponement will drop in at some point in the new year. It's looking more likely to be Gameweek 25 now. This is how the double Gameweek would look if it was in 25 for both City and Brentford. It'd be a rough double for Brentford with Liverpool and Man City, while City would have Chelsea and Brentford, both home fixtures. Dubravka's second on the projections this week. Good news if we've got him. 4.1 points for his match against Nottingham Forest at home. We've seen a new manager bounce for Sheffield United under Wilder. We'll always see the same for Forest under Nuno. Last match they ultimately fell short, going a man down for a big portion of the game. Bournemouth and Luton of course have a fixture to be rescheduled as well against one another. Neto at 4.6 mil could be a good option. Over the last 6 game weeks, only Arsenal have got better expected goals conceded than Bournemouth's 4.75. The problem is Bournemouth's immediate fixtures. They've got Fulham home next game week, but then it's Spurs, Liverpool and West Ham before they turn nicely again. If you're on a wildcard, the Neto and Martinez rotation works amazingly but quite expensive. Alternatively, if you want to go cheap with Dubravka, he also rotates pretty well with Martinez. Or if you want to go even cheaper than that, Dubravka and Areola still works very well. We can safely assume that Areola keeps his spot now after the clean sheet against Man United. On to defenders. It's a great game week for the premium defenders. Trent's top and Trippier's in second. Liverpool are away to Burnley and Newcastle home to Forest. It's been a while since we've used the cliche that Trent's in a league of his own, but he is recently. Since Game Week 12 he's scored 58 points, which is more than anyone in the league. Solanke has moved up to second, just above Salah over that run with 53 points. 9 returns in his last 10 games for Trent. If you sold Haaland and he's looking like he's out for Game Week 19 and you've got the money, then Trent's looking like a no-brainer now. Assuming you've got Salah, Son or even both, then they can be your route back to Haaland when they go to AFCON in the Asian Cup. Trent's 57 assists for Liverpool is the joint most in Premier League history, having now gone level with Robertson. That excludes FPL assists, where Trent actually has more overall. Newcastle have been unfortunate to be riddled with injuries, and noticeably aren't at their absolute best at the moment. Trippier therefore has to be in a void despite a great fixture in Game Week 19, after which point he's got Liverpool, Man City and then Villa, which is a horrid fixture run. Liverpool fear that Tsimikas might have suffered a suspected broken collarbone in the Arsenal match, which would rule him out for a long time if true. It's looking like it's time to sell unfortunately. So as we said, Arsenal hitting a kind fixture run. White, Gabriel, Saliba and Zinchenko all among the top defender projections this week. They're all solid transfers in. Saliba probably still the favourite for the absolute nailedness that he provides. Although Burn makes the table here, he's in a void. The Newcastle backline looking a bit unpredictable now with Livramento also an option in left back, and he was benched last match. Lascelles went off injured, so it could be Botman and Schär back in centre back as the pairing. Reece James has made the decision to get hamstring surgery, so he'll be sidelined for potentially 4 months. Gusto at 4.1 mil could be an absolute gem. He's projected 3.7 points home to Palace next game week. At the time of recording, their match versus Wolves is the final game of Game Week 18, so wait to see how Pochettino lines up and move accordingly. With Cucurella still injured, Colwell's a great option as well. Ben Chilwell expected back early January though. Moving on to the midfielders, and Salah's comfortably top of the Game Week 19 projections with 7 points versus Burnley. After his goal against Arsenal, Salah's been directly involved in 121 goals and 120 appearances for Liverpool at Anfield, 88 goals and 33 assists over that run, the outright most of any player in Liverpool history now, having moved 1 involvement ahead of Gerrard last match. Saka and Odegaard are second and third on the Game Week 19 projections. In fact, if we look at the next 5 Game Week projections, these two are first and second, with Salah and Son's departures factored in. Odegaard's been in fine form recently, though just a goal and 2 assists over his last 5. What's great about Odegaard though, is his playstyle fits the bonus point system perfectly. When he returns, he's often on for maximum bonus, as we saw against Liverpool from a single assist, and he took maximum bonus in the Luton game despite there being 7 goals, one of which was his. Martinelli on the other hand is looking like an avoid. Didn't have the best game against Liverpool. Trossard could get a start ahead of him at some point. Though with Havertz suspended for Gameweek 19, it might not happen then. Gordon, the cheapest midfielder to make the table here with 4.4 points with an estimated 80 minutes. Given those difficult fixtures after Gameweek 19, he's probably not worth looking at now. The question for those of us that owned him already is whether to keep hold or to sell him and potentially buy back later. You do lose all the profit you made on him, and long term Newcastle still have unbelievable fixtures. Bowen's only projected 3.1 points against Arsenal, but deserves a mention after scoring his 11th goal of the season last match. Looks a perfect transfer from Gameweek 20 after Salah and Son go. The last time a West Ham player had 11 goals before Christmas was the 97-98 season, John Hartson 26 years ago. If he can keep current pace, or even slow down a little bit, a 20 goal season would be something special. Wherever he ends up, he's having a hell of a season, and he's going to be inevitably a popular pick after Salah and Son leave for AFCON and the Asian Cup. Richarlison the other one, who's approaching bandwagon territory with 4 goals from his last 3 games, and is still only 3.3% owned. Awesome differential. He scored more goals than Saka from open play this season, which is a surprising stat. Mitoma picked up an injury against Palace and he's expected to be out until February. He's a sell now if you've got him. Palmer's probably the standout replacement if you haven't got him. Wolves vs Chelsea is the final match of Game 18. Palmer and Sterling are both 1 yellow card away from suspension. The suspensions reset after 19 games played. Some other players of note 1 yellow from suspension are Senesi, Nunez, Aït-Nouri and Hwang. Onto the forwards, and who else but Dominic Solanke's top of the forward projections with 4.9 points home to Fulham. From an offensive perspective, his fixtures aren't as bad as they look. Spurs in Gameweek 20 is perfectly fine. They're 14th for expected goals conceded this season, and since Gameweek 12 they're actually worse than the league. Gameweek 21 against Liverpool will be tough, but perhaps he'll be motivated against his old team. And then West Ham in Gameweek 22, who are 14th for expected goals conceded this season. So when you look at the next 5, Liverpool's really the only standout game that could be tough. And dependent on your team, he might even be benchable for that week. So still a great option for 6.9 mil. Iriol is working wonders with Bournemouth at the moment. They've clicked at both ends of the pitch. So let's talk about Alvarez then. If we get news that Haaland's out for another couple of games, he's a great transfer for about the same price as Solanke, and they're dead even for the next 5 projections. In Haaland's absence, the market odds for his goal involvement have shot up. Just the assist against Luton and no returns against Palace last match, but he's got a ton of upside right now. The rest of the forwards aren't particularly tempting right now. Darwin's projected 4.7 points, and you'd imagine he starts against Burnley after the benching against Arsenal, but certainly not a buy right now, perhaps a hold for now and then sell in Gameweek 20. Watkins is top among all forwards in the league for projections over the next 5, he's projected 4.6 points this game week. One other thing to note is Chris Wood started for Nuno's first game in charge of Forest, and he came away with a goal and an assist. If he gets a run of starts now, he could yet be a great option for 4.9 mil, one for the watch list. Forest do have some challenging fixtures ahead, so you can afford to keep him at the back of your head over the next 5 or so game weeks, and then consider him if he's delivering. If this video was helpful, drop it a like before you go, and make sure you're subscribing for more FPL content like this every game week. Later, the Gameweek 19 team selection video will be out as well. See you soon for the next one.